It takes years to build a reputation, but only seconds to destroy it. This quote perfectly describes Shaffie Weru's story, one of Kenya's most influential radio personalities. Shaffie Weru was the king of Kenyan radio for nearly 2 decades. His voice dominated the airwaves, shaping culture, conversations, and the vibe of an entire generation. He seemed untouchable until March 2021 when everything changed. One moment of careless talk turned his world upside down. But what exactly happened? How did things go wrong so quickly? And what is Shaffie Weru doing now to rebuild his life? This is the story of how Shaffie Weru rose to fame, hit rock bottom in just 30 seconds, and found a surprising new role in the government. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, leave a comment below, and most importantly, subscribe. Shaffie Abdallah Weru, or as you all know him, Shaffie Weru, wasn't just a radio presenter. He was a cultural phenomenon. Known as the Reverend, some say his smooth voice and magnetic personality made him the undisputed king of Kenya's urban entertainment scene. But how did he reach such heights? Let's go back to where it all began. Shaffie Weru's journey started with humble beginnings. He was born at Guru Nanak Hospital in Pangani, Nairobi. As the firstborn in a family of 3, Shaffie had a unique upbringing, influenced by a blend of cultures. His father is Kenyan, while his mother is of Nubian descent. Shaffie Weru began his primary education at Toi Primary School, but transferred in class 6 to Ntumu Boarding Primary School in Meru, where he completed his KCPE examinations. For high school, Shaffie attended Chuka High School, where he did his KCSE examinations in 1997. After high school, Shaffie was supposed to travel to Florida, USA for his university education. However, he had other priorities at that time.
I finished high school and then I was supposed to go to university. I was supposed to go to the States in Florida to do mass communication. That was just after the 1998 bombing. There's a lot of confusion and everything. And then I fell in love with this Kamba chick who confused my ass. Who confused me.
Okay.
Sorry, Kenya. And I didn't have the urge to want to go to the States, though my mom was really pushing, being a firstborn of 3. So even when I went to the embassy, I didn't put the effort.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so I didn't get the visa, so I didn't get to go.
While he didn't make it to Florida, he eventually enrolled at KIMC, or the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. There, he pursued a diploma in mass communication, specializing in television and radio production, and graduated in 1999. Shaffie's career kicked off at Real Media Services, where he worked as a sports reporter and producer. However, in 2001, his big break came when he joined Kiss FM, just a year after the station's launch. His entry was facilitated by Carol Radul, who saw his potential. Starting as an intern in the news department, Shaffie quickly climbed the ranks. He became a production sound engineer and later landed his own Saturday show called Keep It Kenyan. Eventually, Shaffie was paired with Kalechi Mumo, and together they hosted the drive show called The Rush Hour, which became the biggest drive show for about 10 years. Shaffie Weru and Kalechi Mumo chemistry on air was amazing. They sounded like 2 close friends having a conversation. The Rush Hour was exactly what the audience wanted. It was a blend of humor, banter, and unfiltered conversations that resonated with their diverse audience. The show wasn't afraid to push boundaries. They discussed everything, from celebrity gossip and current events to deeply relatable life experiences. The impact of Rush Hour during its prime is difficult to put into words. It wasn't just a show, it was a movement. Shaffie and Kalechi Mumo defined urban entertainment for a generation, particularly for young listeners who felt their unique blend of humor and authenticity spoke directly to them.
I have been sitting across you for 8 years. Ain't nothing pretty about you.
My presence is the present.
You haven't even shaved your beard in honor of my birthday.
I shaved my hair. My head. Look at that.
You guys look like Kojak.
Full head.
Nothing nice.
Just for you, Kalechi Mumo, to rub it all day and
Why
day.
am I touching you?
To this day, many argue that Shaffie was the last radio superstar.
Okay, so I consider you literally the last radio superstar. that we had in Kenya?
No, I don't. That's
Tell me.
That's bullshit.
I mean superstar.
Rockstar.
Hey.
Which is true. I even doubt there's a radio presenter today who can be compared to Shaffie Weru. Are there any examples? There's none. Some say it's because people don't listen to radio as much anymore, and they may be right. Shaffie wasn't afraid to say what others were thinking, but wouldn't dare say out loud. Unlike other presenters who played it safe, Shaffie thrived on pushing boundaries, and according to him, he was the only one allowed to be rough and raw on radio, and this attitude became his signature style, earning him the nickname the bad boy of radio.
And I'm the only guy who's allowed to be that rough on the edges and rough and uncut and raw on radio. It's never, as in there's never been another Shaffie before.
No.
Yes. Caroline says it all the time, like, I don't even know how we put it on radio. How do you tell someone that? I'm like, I'm sorry, it just happened.
Shaffie also had his share of controversies. There are many stories, some were true, others were not. In 2014, rumors began circulating about problems at Kiss 100. People claimed that Kalechi Mumo had reported her co-host Shaffie Weru to the station's management. It was said that Shaffie had been mistreating Kalechi at work, showing up drunk, insulting her in front of others, and making fun of her weight. The gossip didn't stop there. Stories started circulating that Shaffie was partying too much, hopping from club to club, and struggling with emotions. Some even said that he might have been battling depression. However, none of this was ever confirmed, and neither Shaffie nor Kalechi spoke publicly about it. It remained just a rumor that kept fans and the media talking. Anyway, after the drive show, Shaffie Weru and Kalechi Mumo were moved to the Big Breakfast show, which was hosted by Caroline Mutoko before she left to take on a more senior role in the station. Kalechi Mumo also left, and Shaffie Weru hosted the morning show alongside Adele Onyango, which went on to become one of the most listened to programs in the country. Over the years, his engaging style and bold personality earned him the nickname The Reverend and made him a household name in Kenya. The morning show with Shaffie Weru and Adele Onyango was doing well, but in 2019, Adele Onyango quit a job as a radio presenter. Shortly after, Shaffie also went off air, leading to rumors that both had been fired from Kiss FM. The station later introduced Kamenegoro and Andrew Kibe as the new hosts, confirming many fans' fears that Shaffie and Adele had been replaced. Now, at the peak of his career, Shaffie was more than just a radio host. He became an event host, influencer, and a brand ambassador, representing top companies and products.
I was a brand ambassador for Hennessy for the longest time. Before Hennessy, I was a brand ambassador for Smirnoff. Easy, Guarana, Smirnoff Red, Zote. I was the first person to be a brand ambassador back in 2004, 2005. Yes. EABL gave us so much money. And look at brand ambassador of Coke. Traveled all over Africa with Coca-Cola when we did the Bambucha campaign, eating life with a big spoon. But it's only Likora Choma because they really didn't mean anything to me. The only brand ambassadorship that I held on to and took acquire as we grew to what we are now is only Hennessy.
In 2018, he was hosting a show on Switch Television called Happy Hour alongside DNG and DJ Kalonje. The show focused on entertainment, lifestyle and music, featuring various segments that engaged the audience with lively discussions, interviews and performances. In 2019, Shaffie Weru made a significant career shift when he joined Homeboyz Radio as the program's controller. This move showed his ability to adapt as he shifted from being on air to managing the station's programming behind the scenes. For years, Shaffie was untouchable, hosting events, endorsing brands and living the high life. But with great power comes great responsibility, a lesson Shaffie Weru would learn the hard way. His career faced a setback in 2021 when controversial comments during a broadcast led to his dismissal from Homeboyz Radio. On that fateful day, Shaffie and his co-host Neville and DJ John Falme discussed a trending story about a young woman who had been pushed off the 12th floor by a man she was on a date with. The woman, Eunice Wangari Wakimbi, was just 20 years old and had been thrown off the 12th floor of a Nairobi building by a man she reportedly met on Facebook. The incident caused her serious pelvic injuries, forcing her to spend 2 months at Kenyatta National Hospital. Now, in that show, Shaffie commented that all the ladies should play hard to get, and later asked if Kenyan women are too available, too loose, and too desperate, which is why they get caught up in such situations. That comment and that video sparked a storm, with many accusing the presenters of victim blaming and promoting misogyny and rape culture. Social media, especially Twitter, exploded with outrage, and listeners demanded accountability. Within hours, hashtags like "Cancel Shaffie Weru" trended, putting immense pressure on the station and its sponsors. East African Breweries Limited, or EABL, went ahead and pulled out advertising from the show, while the Communications Authority of Kenya fined Homeboyz Radio 1 million Kenyan shillings and suspended the show for 6 months.
The Radio Africa Group will have to pay 1 million shillings as a fine for its presenters promoting what the Communication Authority says is a breach of ethics. Further, the media company will have to retrain its on-air staff and have them accredited by the Media Council of Kenya as part of regulations imposed after presenters on Homeboyz Radio breakfast show made derogatory remarks against women.
EABL stated that the remarks implied support for acts of gender violence against women. The station was left with no choice but to terminate Shaffie and his co-hosts. The entire incident lasted mere seconds, but its impact was career-ending. Shaffie's unapologetic persona, once celebrated, was now his downfall. The presenters later apologized, and Shaffie Weru apologized on Instagram for encouraging the already ongoing unacceptable culture of violence against women, saying, "I realize and accept that my statements about the unfortunate incident that happened to Eunice were very insensitive and hurtful, and could be interpreted by some as encouraging the already ongoing and unacceptable culture of violence against women and girls. I sincerely apologize to Eunice and her family, and I deeply regret any harm that I've caused with my words."
Let me tell you, 2 wrongs don't make a right. What we did on radio was wrong. And, I take the blame for Joe and also for Neville, because I was more senior. And, when they say when the ship is sinking, it goes down to the captain. And technically, I was the captain. Neville had just joined the station. He wasn't even like a month old.
Yeah.
And the show was popping. Trust me, as Joe can confirm, the show was really popping. The only problem is that we popped and decided to go the wrong route, and it just messed up everything.
Now, for a long time, misogynistic comments were common on Kenyan radio, with many radio presenters making disrespectful remarks about women without facing consequences. However, Shaffie Weru's controversial comments in 2021 marked a turning point. It was probably the first time that presenters were held accountable and punished for such behavior, signaling a shift in how the media industry handled inappropriate content. In response to his dismissal, Shaffie Weru took legal action against Radio Africa on March 30th, 2021. Through his lawyers, he sent a demand letter to the company claiming unfair termination and breach of contract. He sought compensation of 22 million for wrongful dismissal, citing flaws in the process that led to his firing. Shaffie argued that he had not been given a fair hearing and pointed out several labor laws he believed the company had violated during his termination. In retaliation, Radio Africa countersued Shaffie for 150 million Kenyan shillings, accusing him of breach of contract and negligence. They argued that his controversial comments caused reputational damage and led to a loss of business. Now, public opinion on Shaffie Weru dismissal was divided. Some people agreed with the decision, seeing it as an important step to fight gender-based violence and promote more sensitivity to how the media talks about violence against women. Others supported Shaffie, saying that although his comments were badly worded, he was trying to warn about potential dangers. They felt his remarks were part of a bigger conversation about safety, gender issues, and how the media should be responsible.
The issues of harassment, the issue of consent, the issue of domestic violence. These are issues that people just speak about when an incident happens, and then what do after that? And you see these incidents, like my incident, with people crucified me, did they get a solution? No. So what I'm planning and I'm hoping to do is to continue spreading good vibes and also to just put everyone, on their toes in relation to the issues that people are very emotive about, yet they don't want to be objective and sober enough to have a conversation
and brave enough
and come up with solutions.
In an interview, Shaffie Weru tried to explain himself, saying that what happened was a misunderstanding and a moment of poor judgment on his part. He felt like the company, Radio Africa, could have handled the situation better. Shaffie emphasized that while his comments were wrong, the real issue of gender-based violence was still ongoing. He argued that getting fired didn't solve the problem of gender-based violence and that more needed to be done to address it.
That whole, drama around it, how it was handled by the management of that particular station and how we got just, dismissed, it did not help anybody. That's why I'm saying two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, we were wrong, but also how the situation was handled and how guys ambushed us and how guys came for us and how guys were gassed up, whether they were legit or not legit, it's neither here or there. The reality of the situation is this: something needed to be done about a situation that is still going on until now.
Until today.
And the fact that we were the poster child, the SI unit of fixing that problem, and it was not fixed. People thought that me getting fired, John Farmel getting fired, and Neville getting fired will resolve the issue. It has not resolved the issue.
For someone who had been at the top for so long, the fall was devastating. However, Shaffie Weru said that nothing really changed in his life. He explained that the only thing he lost was the job.
Nothing changed in my life. The only things that changed is that now I was jobless, and then now my source of income had been depleted by over 700 Gs a month, and but everything else was constant, and it's still constant until today. So it took away. It affected me more emotionally than physically.
Despite the humiliation, Shaffie Weru remained resilient. He took time away from the spotlight to reflect and plan his next move. For months, fans and critics alike were left wondering what was next for Shaffie Weru. Shaffie's comeback in 2023 was both unexpected and inspiring. He returned with a new show called Shafted, where he did major interviews with public figures like the Dion. The show marked a fresh start for Shaffie, showing his determination to bounce back and reclaim his place in the spotlight. In the same year, Shaffie Weru made another surprising move by joining the Nairobi County government as the head of events and branding under Governor Johnson Sakaja's administration. The new role allowed him to use his network and media experience to organize events and build partnerships for the county. Many were skeptical of this move, saying that it was a downgrade from his media glory days. However, Shaffie embraced the role with humility and determination. He shifted his focus from personal fame to making a positive impact on the community, working to enhance Nairobi's cultural and social scene. In interviews, Shaffie has been open about his past mistakes, acknowledging them with honesty. He credits the experience with teaching him valuable lessons about accountability, respect, and the importance of using his influence responsibly.
I wish I could have done better. I would have, I'd have been more informed and more awake or woke to that particular situation and that particular moment, because there was a lot that was happening at that particular time. People were going through so much.
Shaffie Weru's story is a reminder of the power and dangers of words. For him, those 30 seconds of poor judgment cost him everything: his career, his reputation, and the trust of his audience. The Reverend, who once ruled Kenyan radio, now serves as a lesson. Even kings can fall if they forget the power of their words. And in today's world, people are quick to react, and a single bad comment can lead to the downfall of a career.
We can have a million opinions, we can have, all sorts of, fights, but they're good diplomatic fights where, at the end of it all, we come up with solutions.
Anyway, his story is also a testament to resilience and reinvention. He could have let his mistakes define him, but instead, he chose to learn and find a new path. His role in the Nairobi County government has given him a chance to rebuild his legacy, not as a media star, but as a servant of the people. Let me know your thoughts about this story in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and let's meet in the next video.